Hey guys, it's Heather, your OC Jamberry girl, and today we're going to be making chicken meat broth. This is a great way to get started in your bone brewing experience because it's fast, it's easy, it's inexpensive, and you actually get a meal out of it. So let's get going. The recipe you see here is for 4 quarts of broth. I always double mine, but take into account how large your stock pot is and how much you want to brew, and go ahead and get your ingredients together. Please make sure that the chicken is free range and that all your vegetables are organic. There are basically 4 steps to the brewing process. You're going to soak, boil, simmer, and then pour. So what you're going to do first is put just the meat. So again, I doubled my recipe, so there's already a chicken in here. I'm doing 2 whole chickens, and I do add all the gizzards, the neck, all the things that should come with your chicken in the water. And I also do add the chicken feet. I do 2 chicken feet for every 4 quarts. You should be able to get these at your Whole Foods market. They look kind of creepy, but they're really nutritious. So for this first step, you're soaking the meat in 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. You're going to do that for about a half hour to an hour depending on your schedule. Okay, so it's time to bring your broth to a boil. You're not going to want to go too far because as soon as it reaches a boil, you're going to need to turn it down to a simmer, so maybe set an alarm to keep checking on your broth. For 8 quarts, it usually takes me about an hour. Now, I don't put the vegetables in at this time because they float to the top. And I know this is probably going to sound kind of gross, but after your broth comes to a boil, you're going to need to skim some scum that rises to the top, and the vegetables get in the way. So what I do is I use this time while my broth is coming to a boil to chop and prepare my vegetables and my other spices. Okay, so my broth has been going for about an hour. It's not quite boiling yet, but it's getting close. And so I came to check on it, and this is some of the stuff that you're going to want to skim off the top. Just this is when you're going to use the small wire mesh. You could also use a wooden spoon. You're just going to get rid of that. You can throw it down your sink or put it in the trash. I have noticed that you're going to have less to skim if you do a good soak with the vinegar and if you're using really good, fresh, organic, free-range chicken. So today it took about an hour and a half to bring my broth to a boil. I've skimmed everything off the top, reduced it to a simmer. Now I'm going to add my vegetables and my spices in. I just do a real coarse chop because you need to get it out with a strainer later, so there's no need to really make it small. I do a stalk of celery, a bunch of carrots, a large onion along with my thyme, bay leaves, and peppercorns. Put anything in there that sounds good to you. Then I put the top on, and I set my timer for about an hour and a half, and that's it. I wanted to show you guys what my broth looks like when it's at the simmer stage. You can just see some real gentle bubbles coming up occasionally. On my gas range, I get the perfect simmer with a lid on, and if I have the flame down as low as it will go. So you don't want a rolling boil here, you just want a real gentle simmer. And 10 minutes before your simmer is over, you're going to add your parsley. Okay, so my chicken's been simmering for about 2 hours, and now we're going to take out the chicken, the veggies, and the other goodies we had in there. Now's the time to put on your apron or your dedicated bone broth brewing shirt because you're probably going to get a little greasy. I've already removed the chickens. I did that using my medium-sized wire mesh strainer along with a wooden spoon. And now I just scoop out all the veggies and the chicken feet and all those little extra goodies that were in with the chicken. I put it in a double bag. I double bag, check for holes. And once all that is out, you're going to let the broth cool down for about an hour just so that there's not any risk of burning yourself while you pour. Okay, so we're ready to pour, and this is where the large Pyrex measuring cup and the large strainer is going to come in. And just move the stock pot over and pour. If it's too heavy for you, you can certainly take a smaller measuring cup and just kind of scoop it out. And then you're going to transfer the broth into whatever containers you've decided you're going to freeze them in. I don't usually drink the broth immediately after making it because it's a little too rich for me. I like to cool it in the fridge for a few hours and skim the fat off. It's going to last about 4 days in your fridge and a couple of months in your freezer. And you may want to label if you're going to be storing and having quite a bit so that you know which your chicken, which your fish, which your beef. That's it. So to recap, you've got to allow time for the prep, soak, waiting for that water to boil, your simmer time, some cool down time, and then pouring and cleanup time. All told, depending on how much you're brewing, this can take anywhere between 3.5 to 6 hours. Well guys, that's it. Have fun cooking your chicken meat broth. Email me with questions or comments, and until my next video, I just want to say, here's to your gut, and thanks so much for watching.